What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. We're back at the grind. We're back at posting every day now. I got to get back into the swing of things. But anyway, today's video, we're going to talk about really just leading up to KEEL earnings, man. You know, it's a big time for all the KEEL investors. Everybody's kind of burrowing into their own little opinion hole about everything and how everything's going to play out. And, you know, I kind of just want to give some people some reassurance. I did make a video last night kind of pointing y'all in the direction of watching Steven's video. If y'all haven't watched that yet, go check it out. You know, he's another KEEL content creator, talks about KEEL and, you know, a lot of other companies as well. But he kind of covered, you know, expectations on KEEL's earnings pretty well in last night's video. So shout out to him. But like I said, if y'all haven't seen that, go check that out. But really, so today, KEEL Infrastructure, so far, it's pre-markets right now. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning. KEEL's trading pretty flat, right? It's up about 0.25%. Nothing crazy, nothing dramatic, which is good to see, right? It's nice to see KEEL actually trading in a stable range. You know, every day when you come out and you see, you know, 10% swings, the shit can get, man, it can get exhausting because that can really take a lot out of you emotionally, especially when you have a big lump sum of money invested in KEEL like I know I do and a couple of y'all do. So, you know, seeing big swings like that on a daily basis can just absolutely exhaust your mental state, right? So it's good to see KEEL kind of, you know, just chilling out leading into earnings. You know, I think people are just, you know, they've made their bets and now they're just kind of letting it chill and play out, and we'll see what happens, you know. Personally, for me, guys, now listen, all I do want to say at first is, so I was doing some looking about the KEEL. So I've said I was going to go live for the KEEL earnings call, and the way that their call is set up, so they posted on X that, you know, they put a post out saying, you know, don't forget to sign up for our webinar or call in. So I did that. And the way it's set up is, it's not like a video presentation, or it's not like anything I would be able to share, I don't think, on a live stream. It's kind of like calling in on a phone, unless I can figure out a way to, you know, incorporate that onto a computer. So I don't know, we'll have to see. I'll have to play around with it a little bit. So I don't know if I'll be able to go live for the earnings call, but you know, that's worst case scenario. If that does happen, then immediately following the earnings call, I will post a video kind of breaking down my thoughts on what happened, and you know, kind of, you know, just giving y'all a, you know, a step-by-step breakdown of, you know, was it good, was it bad, did, you know, they hit what we expected or not. You know, and going into this earnings, you know, I really hope nobody's expecting to see good numbers, you know, revenue-wise. I really hope people aren't going into this thinking, you know, where they need to hit their numbers, they need to beat expectations, blah, blah, blah. That's really not important, at least to me right now. You know, it might be important to other people. But in regards to KEEL's earnings, they don't have any kind of earnings, right? The only thing that they're bringing in revenue from was the Bitcoin mining. And they have said, you know, in the past months that they're scaling that back, you know, pretty dramatically. So the numbers are probably going to be not good at all, right? Really what we're all hoping and, you know, going into this looking for is just announcements around lease deals and, you know, construction on the data centers, right? Because if there's construction, there's bound to be deals coming, because you're not just going to sit there and build a whole ass data center for no reason. Right, you're just not going to do it. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. So, you know, that's kind of the two main key points that I'm looking for during the earnings call, and you know, along with some other things like, you know, permitting, and because we all know all the shit that's going on in Pennsylvania with all the roadblocks that are popping up. So, you know, we could see some potential delays in that. I'm hoping we don't. You know, but there has been a lot of political hoopla up in Pennsylvania about data centers and, you know, them bringing their own power, you know, them cutting out the noise, like just a whole bunch of other stuff that don't really, it matters because it could really slow down the process. But in the grand scheme of things, the way KEEL is going about stuff, you know, I think eventually they'll break through and be able to, you know, do what they need to do. But again, you know, I just want to set expectations to a level that it needs to be set at, right? There's so many people out here that have big, grandiose expectations for KEEL on this earnings call. Like, oh, they're going to announce all the lease deals. If they don't announce all the lease deals on this earnings call, if they don't announce, you know, they've already built a data center, or they don't announce that that data center is already up and running, then they're going to dump this shit out of KEEL, right? that's some kind of people's mindset that we're dealing with out here. Is these people, some of these people that are investing in KEEL think that they should have data centers built in 2 weeks, or they should have 3 deals signed in a month, right? Or they're dumping it. It don't make any sense. That's not how companies, brand new companies, work, that are trying to transition out of what they used to do into something that they want to do, right? It takes time. I get it. It's been like 2 years ever since they've started, kind of rotating over to HPC data center infrastructure. But now they have it seems anyway, that they have everything in place. They have all their ducks in a row, and they have things where they need it to be. One of the biggest, red lights that is flashing to me, right, is at Moses Lake. The satellite images at Moses Lake, you can clearly tell, right? You can clearly tell, unless something is just oddly wrong. You can clearly tell that buildings have started to get knocked down. You can clearly tell that shit ain't there anymore, right? So really, common sense, and one could only think that they're building something, or at least they're doing some kind of demolition to start building something, right? So I'm really expecting to hear something along those lines on the earnings call, at least. Like, okay, at Moses Lake, we started demolishing all the old stuff to, get all the land surveyed and get everything built up. That's the least. Now, along with a lease deal, that would be great, because again, I don't think they're going to start building a data center without a tenant. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But, who am I to, I don't know. I can't run one of these companies, so I don't know, but that's my expectation. But hopefully I can go live for the earnings. If not, like I said, I will make a detailed video afterwards for you guys, because I know it's very important, especially to this community, my community. It's very important we stay in the loop and we stay kind of focused on our core thesis with KEEL, because we don't want to get shook out just because of some bad news, or just because of something that somebody might hear in the earnings call and take it the complete wrong way when it don't need to be taken that way, right? Because there are a lot of people out there that overanalyze these earnings calls and they take things away from it that didn't need to be taken, right? Like they hear something and they start spinning it in their mind to make it mean something completely different. That's why I want to come on here and give you guys my thoughts on it. But if you are out there following other channels to people that are kind of negative, and just please keep an open mind, and please just stay tuned for when I come out and give my opinion on it, because I'm not going to come on here and spin anything any type of way, or I'm just going to give my raw thoughts, right? If it comes out and it's a terrible earnings with no updates, I'm going to come on here and tell you that. And I'm going to come on here and tell you, listen, something's up, and they're either bullshitting, or something is happening. They're pushing the can a little bit down the road, So I'm going to give you guys the raw truth on everything, right? I'm not on here to pump my own bags. I'm not on here to do that. I'm on here to make the best investment choices I can make and show you guys the journey along the way. So just stay tuned for that. Again, hopefully I can go live, hopefully. But we'll see. From the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be tough. But anyway, that's kind of the expectations going into the earnings, guys. Like, people just really need to knock it down a little bit. They don't need to expect, a blockbuster earnings, blockbuster updates. You got to expect the worst and hope for the best, right? That's just how it is with companies like this, with small companies like this. You got to look on the bright side, right? They have the capital to do their things. They have a great team, no matter what X says. They have a fantastic team. One of the biggest contributors now that they have is they have an amazing, strong-ass community. KEEL Infrastructure has a strong community, way more stronger than they had last quarter, right? Their community has probably 5 to 10x'd in support since last quarter, in my opinion, from what I've seen. So we'll see what happens, right? You got a lot of people following KEEL. There's going to be a lot of eyeballs on this earnings presentation. You have Wall Street following KEEL now. They're a part of an index. BlackRock just bought, right? There's going to be a lot riding on this. There's going to be a lot of attention on it. And it's going to be a very, very volatile day trading wise, right? Very, very volatile. It could swing in either direction 20% in an instant. So just be ready for that. Make your bets as you may, leading up to earnings. Me personally, I'm not doing a thing. I'm not selling a thing. You know, I'm just not, because let's just say, you know, it's just a risky game you play if you start selling and trying to buy back lower, say if it dumps on earnings. If you do get lucky and it dumps and you can buy back in lower, that's great, right? But you don't know that's going to happen. Let's say the earnings happens and they announce a lease deal. What do you think the price of KEEL Infrastructure is going to do if they announce some kind of deal, on this earnings? The price could double very quickly. So it's just a risky game, and you got to ask yourself, are you willing to play that game, right? Are you willing to take the chance on the price going up 50% on you to buy back in at maybe 10 or 20% lower? You know, just weigh your options. And if that's the game you want to play, by all means, have at it. But that's not the game I'm playing. I don't play that game. I place my bets over a long period of time. I'm not going to sell. I'm a long-term holder. I build shares, and whatever happens, right? I buy, let my thesis play out. If my thesis gets broken in the process, then we'll make decisions when that time is needed. But until then, I'm just accumulating shares of KEEL Infrastructure, and, you know, I'm going to let them run their business, and I'm going to listen to their updates with an open mind. We'll go from there, guys. I mean, that's all at the end of the day, that's all we can do, right? We can place our bets for the future on a company we believe in, and hopefully they execute on what they have promised. If they don't, then it's on them. It's not really our fault. We did our part as a community, right? We come on here, we spread the good word of KEEL Infrastructure. We've tried to let people know that, look, this company could be flying under the radar. It could be a dark horse. We've done our part. Now, it's in their court to deliver on what they have told us that we've been out here sharing, right? Do they make us look like idiots, or do they make themselves look really good? Because they have the potential, and they are in the position to become a top player in the HPC data center infrastructure space. They have the assets for it. They have the capital for it. They have the community for it. All they got to do now is execute on their roadmap. And if they do that, we're going to be happy. They're going to be happy, and the company's going to be successful. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Y'all stay tuned. We're getting up to the day of earnings, man. We're ticking the days off one by one. We're getting close, just a couple of days away now. And, you know, I'm super excited about it. Either way, right? Either if it's a good earnings, bad earnings, I'm still excited about it, because we're going to get some kind of information from KEEL Infrastructure that we haven't really heard we haven't heard in a month or two. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope y'all are. Leave some comments down below. Let me know y'all's game plan leading into the earnings. I'm interested to know, are you buying? Are you selling? Are you selling a little bit, trying to buy back lower if it dumps? Let me know what you're doing. I'm very interested. It's very neat to see everybody's different strategies, and I love it, right? And everybody's not just following the same strategy, which is cool. You're not supposed to, right? Everybody's got a different type of style. Everybody has a different type of investment style, and it's just cool to see. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please consider hitting the like, hit the subscribe. I will say 80% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed. So if you do get value, if you like KEEL Infrastructure, you like daily videos on KEEL Infrastructure, please hit that subscribe button down below. It really means a lot. Hit the like button. Also, there will be a link down in the description to join the Discord. It's growing slowly. We already got over, I think, like 10 members in there, which is really awesome. We got a good group of guys in there so far. Everybody talks about KEEL and, their game plans, and just everybody's positive, and it's a good atmosphere to be around. So hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next one.